Yo, what's up guys? I'm Gym Leader Tyler. So this is going to be my first video for my brand new Pokemon channel. I'm going to be reporting all the latest Pokemon news on like Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon Go, the upcoming Generation 8 game, and even movies like Detective Pikachu coming up next year. I'm also going to be making videos like top 10s, discussion videos, and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy what I have to show you. So, yeah. Alright, let's hop into it. So I'm going to be talking about my top 5 most exciting things about Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee, and then my top 5 scariest. Obviously, every game is going to have its strong suits and caveats, and Pokemon Let's Go is definitely not any different. Fans like us are always going to be anxious to see what Game Freak has to bring to the table, and I just want to dissect what we're excited for and what we're scared about. Alright, so one of the most exciting things that tons of people are already super hyped about is the stylized and HD graphics of the game. We've gotten pretty comprehensive looks at what the look and feel of the game are going to be like, but it honestly doesn't even feel like enough. We keep wanting to see more, over and over again. And it's just something about the art style, it's just so charming, and every time I see it, I can't wait to start playing. You can feel the heart that they put into animating each of the original 151 Pokemon, and the world around you is just so stunning and beautiful. I can't get over like how amazingly they designed the overworld. It just looks so pretty and the colors pop so well. I can't help but anticipate traveling through the Kanto region again. Alright, so now on to the number 5 most scary thing about Pokemon Let's Go, and that's the lack of clarification on what kind of game Pokemon Let's Go is. And I think that the evidence mostly points to it being more of a side game now, but especially on day of announcement, it was really hard to tell what Pokemon Let's Go was. Is it really a side game or spin-off game? Does it have any bearing on the story of the main series games? The feeling of Pokemon Let's Go feels really similar to a main series game based off the trailers, but it's honestly really hard to tell. We might just have to wait to find out. Next up for the number 4 most exciting thing is engagement. I play Pokemon Go a lot, and I'm involved in both communities, and I think it's really cool that they're trying to involve all groups of Pokemon from like all different types of communities, because we have the people that play traditionally, and then the Pokemon Go players, and then people that are interested in Pokemon but maybe don't understand it as much. And it's honestly a really ambitious goal to try to want to involve as many people as possible to try to expand Pokemon even further. The more people that love Pokemon, the better, and I think it's honestly a really good idea. And I think Pokemon Go is a really good place to start because there's already the interest of Pokemon, and now it's just kind of coaxing them and like introducing them to a more traditional format of Pokemon in Let's Go, and it's giving them incentive by being able to transfer Pokemon from there, so it kind of brings more traditional players that have kind of fallen off Pokemon Go a little bit more back into the fray, and it's giving Pokemon Go players incentive to join this traditional format of the game where they can maybe experience more true Pokemon. I think it's really interesting because Pokemon Go seemed like this far off thing, but now it's kind of like inspiring Game Freak to kind of adapt some of their mechanics into their games, and I think that's really cool that Pokemon Go has become so big that it could cause a shift into the main series, and it's honestly really impressive. And a lot of people are afraid of it, but I think it's just really cool. So not only does it create engagement with Pokemon Go and Pokemon Let's Go, but it kind of engages Pokemon as a whole within the Pokemon community, even the separate facets of it. And that's why that's number 4 on my list. Unfortunately, with the engagement of Pokemon Go comes our number 4 most scary thing, and that's oversimplification. A lot of people are starting to ask, are we going too far with inspiration from Pokemon Go? Or maybe we're just adapting the wrong things from Pokemon Go? Because one of the main concerns is using CP and using like a minimized version of the stats. And honestly, those are legitimate concerns because I'm also concerned. Everyone is kind of afraid right now that Pokemon's going to dumb down the game too much in order for a wider audience to understand. And I think it's a matter of whether it's worth alienating your die-hard fan base in favor of newer players who probably could figure out these new mechanics anyway, because it's not that difficult to where no one will understand. But yeah, hopefully they're not dumbing it down too much, and hopefully whatever they do simplify is for the better of Pokemon. Alright, so that leads us to our number 3 most exciting thing, and that's nostalgia. For a lot of us, Gen 1 was our first generation, and nostalgia is a huge deal, and even though this is technically our 4th iteration of the Kanto region, it still excites me to my core that I get to see it in HD. Honestly, it's almost poetic that the Kanto region gets to be the first to bring the franchise into HD on the Switch. I am kind of bummed that the other regions aren't going to be included in this, so we don't get any other generations of Pokemon, but for a lot of people, it's going to be really relieving to only have 151 again, instead of the 800 plus that they have to remember and are overwhelmed with, which, you know, leads back into being more accessible, things like that. But, you know, we still get to see Kanto in HD. Alright, so now our number 3 scariest. The game might be too easy. This one kind of piggybacks off the last scary point, but with news of gym requirements, simplified stats, and talk of making the game easier for wider audiences, a lot of questions are raised. Are they going to hold our hands through the entire thing? Are they going to stick us in a little box and have us complete little tasks in the order that they want in order to get through the game? Honestly, this would really break the entire game for me, because a lot of the fun of Pokemon is finding what you need to do and exploring around until you figure it out. You can figure out on your own if your Pokemon are too weak or like not well paired for the person that you're fighting just by fighting them. And if you lose or are having a really hard time fighting a trainer, then you know that you need to, you know, up the ante a little bit. But with gym requirements, it kind of forces you to, like, it just kind of tells you, like, hey, you don't need to figure this out, we got you. It's going to be easier if you do these things, which is fine if it's a suggestion, but it's a requirement, which kind of rubs me the wrong way. The game being too easy is a make or break for this game, and hopefully they don't excessively hold their hands. Alright, so here we are at the top 2. Another exciting thing, and already clearly one of the best parts of this game, is the immersion. The immersion is a huge part of this iteration, and to me, it honestly already looks like it does better than in any Pokemon game to date. Most obviously, we have the Pokemon that follow you, which looks super fun and looks so much like Pokemon should. Not only are there Pokemon out in the overworld, whether you're, you know, right next to them or out in the tall grass roaming around now, but everything is to scale. Like, Pokemon are the sizes that they should be in relation to you, and I feel like it makes it really feel like you're in the world of Pokemon. If you look at the original concept art, there's this special feeling, like a vibe that you get that you don't necessarily get from the games now, where it feels like Pokemon actually coincide with the lives of humans. And I feel like it's been slightly missing from the games, but this one really looks like it'll immerse you in the world and make you feel like you're in the world of Pokemon. And I think it's gonna do it better than any game so far. Alright, so now the number 2 of scary. And that's how Pokemon Let's Go will affect the future of the Pokemon games. I think that some people are afraid that some of the features in Pokemon Let's Go are going to spell out how the future main series games are going to be. Maybe wild battles will be gone forever, or maybe the less complex stat system will remain in the game. But honestly, I feel like this won't be the case, and Nintendo and Game Freak understand that their next game needs to be aimed more towards the audience that, you know, has been with Pokemon the entire time. But there's always a chance that if Pokemon Let's Go does well, they might simplify it for more audiences, or they could make a Let's Go spin-off series, which honestly I would really enjoy too. Alright, here we are at the top of my list, and I think that the most exciting thing about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is that they're shaking up the formula. I think it's pretty clear to Game Freak now that they can't keep coming out with Pokemon games that are the same every single time. They're going to need to change their formula the same way Zelda and Mario did with Breath of the Wild and Odyssey. Maybe Let's Go won't make the most huge changes mechanics-wise, but I think that Game Freak's willingness to try new things is definitely indicative of where the future of Pokemon is headed. Alright, here's the most scary thing, and it's actually the same as the most exciting thing, because there's a fear there that Pokemon will give us something that fails. They'll change something and it'll end up being wrong, and they change the wrong thing, or they add something that's weird or bad, and we're scared that they'll change Pokemon in ways that we won't enjoy. I honestly think that's why there's so many people that are really skeptical of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee right now. Of course, we're never going to want a bad Pokemon game, but I believe that as long as we trust Game Freak and allow them to experiment and take risks, then we'll get great games from the franchise we all love. Okay, so those are my top 5 most exciting and scary things about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Obviously, these are more of my own personal opinion, but I feel like a lot of the community will share my thoughts. I think even if most of us don't end up liking Let's Go, then we can always have solace in the fact that main series Pokemon games are coming just next year. But aside from that, I'm honestly still crazy hyped for Pokemon Let's Go, and you know, based off everything we've seen, I'm pretty sure the game's going to be great, and everyone's going to have a fun time, no matter how skeptical they were. Alright, so now before I go, I just want to thank you for watching my very first video on this channel, and thank you so much for staying till the end. I don't really want to beg for likes or subscribes or anything, but you know, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. It's honestly my dream to start a channel like this, so any support would be really, really appreciated. I'm going to be uploading videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and any day that there's news to report, so keep an eye out for those. thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.